Species. Unite.
I know that veganism can be a little daunting for some, and they feel like it's either you go fully vegan or you're not allowed in the club.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Novogratz. This is Species Unite. We have a favor to ask. If you liked today's episode and you have a spare minute, could you please rate and review Species Unite on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts? It really helps people to find the show. Because it's January and because a lot of people made big resolutions a few weeks ago, we are going to talk about one of them, plant-based eating, because it's a really good resolution all year long. A lot of people might think that switching your diet to plant-based means that there's a lot of food you can't eat anymore. But actually, I experienced the opposite. Eating vegan opened up so many options and flavors that I'd never tried before. This episode is with Cheryl Martinez. She's the founder of Veginner Cooking, which is all about making plant-forward living accessible and exciting for everyone. Whether they are curious or they're doing vegan till dinner or meatless Mondays or making the shift to full-on vegan. She's built a community of over 200,000 Veginners. That is vegan beginners. And she shares delicious recipes, tips, advice, and all sorts of really good info on how to make eating plant-based delicious, healthy, and fun. Cheryl, hi. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's really good to meet you.
The pleasure is mine, Elizabeth.
All right, so we're here to talk about Veginner. How did this all start? What's your background?
I come from a Puerto Rican and Spaniard, Italian backgrounds. My family loves meats. If you told me when I was a little kid that, someday I'd own a vegan food blog, I'd be like, you're crazy. But I knew I always had a soft spot for animals. And as I got older, I just felt really uncomfortable eating them. In fact, I hated cooking. And looking back now, I think the reason was I didn't like dealing with the dead animal flesh. Like something just didn't add up in my mind. So I just kind of stayed away from it. And over time, I was just like, I'd love to make the change. Ended up going to India. That was kind of where my plant-forward journey began.
Did something happen in India?
It's such a vegetarian-friendly country, so I wasn't at a lack of delicious things to eat. I love Indian food. I felt like it was easier to try there, and I was already going there for work. I'm like, okay, this is my time. It's now or never. Like, this is a sign. The universe is telling you, Cheryl, do it now. As soon as I came back from India, I was like, this is it. I'm vegetarian. But it took me 8 years after that to go fully plant-based. A lot of people think they can't give up dairy, and I was one of them.
It took me a long time to give up cheese, and it didn't, and my brain wouldn't really make the connection. I didn't think it was that bad. And then as soon as you are like, okay, I'm not going to eat dairy anymore, then you're like, wow, it's not any different than eating meat.
Yeah.
But it's very hard for your brain to make the connection when it doesn't want to. So how did Veginner Cooking start?
It was born of my struggles. I said, it took me so long to get where I am. It didn't have to be that hard. I wanted to basically document my journey, share what I learned, build a community of people who could support each other, and at the same time, just create something that I would have loved to have when I first started out on my own transition to a plant-forward lifestyle. I would have loved to have the tools and resources like Veginner Cooking, like Species Unite. Now there are tons of amazing resources out there, and it doesn't have to be hard.
Well, it's interesting too, because last night I was at a dinner and it was mixed. People are meat eaters, well, vegan, and some vegetarians. And someone was talking about the fact that the number of vegans in the UK is now going the other way. You know, it was really going up, up, up. And now a lot of vegan restaurants are serving meat, which is horrible, but true.
What?
And a lot of people who went vegan are going back. And the topic was, why is this happening? And someone said, well, it's because people really want to get healthier and they're realizing how processed vegan food is. And I said, only if you eat processed vegan food. And then this meat eater said, yeah, but I mean, no one has time to cook, right? And then he proceeded to tell me that he eats hamburgers. And I said, well, aren't they processed? And he said, no, I cook them.
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah.
This is funny, but it's not, because these are real myths and real things that people, like, there's a big part of the world that thinks vegan food is like the stuff in the grocery store in wrappers that says vegan and fake meats, which all that's fine sometimes. But in the big picture, no one should be living off that stuff. It's processed. But there's a lot of people who think that's what being vegan is, or you have to be a chef.
Yeah.
And I've been vegan for a very long time. I'm not a chef, and I don't really eat much of that stuff. I still cook a lot, but I make really simple, a lot of vegetables, tofu.
Great.
But talk about that, because I'm sure that comes up a lot.
It's really important you said that. Here's my take on processed food. I think that there's a space for it. For people who just transition, you're going to have some old cravings, right? So I think for the beginning stages of transitioning, to help you get past those old cravings, when you're in the mood for a hamburger, is it okay to have an Impossible Burger? Yeah, you're just starting out. Give yourself some space, some space to grow and evolve with your cooking and your health education journey. I think those things are good in the beginning, but over time, what you'll notice is that when you choose a plant-based lifestyle, you're not just switching meat products to plant products, you're actually learning about health and food as a whole. So I never looked at the back of ingredients when I went food shopping before I was vegan, but now I do all the time. And it makes me look for high fructose corn syrup. It makes me look for artificial ingredients, yellow 5 and all these crazy things. So I'm actually staying away from more than just, the meat. And so once you learn about how to improve your health and diet on all levels, and being plant-based helps you do that. So once you learn how to shop for yourself, how to find clean ingredients, it becomes a holistic part of your health and eating journey. And it's not just about being plant-based. It's about being more healthy in all aspects of your diet.
But you didn't start out that way, right?
No.
So when you decided, I'm going to start beginner cooking, kind of to teach yourself as well as others. Talk about early days and what that was all about.
I told myself that I'm just going to try it for 30 days. I didn't commit to anything. For me, the thought of forever and never being able to eat meat or chicken ever again, it sounded a little, I guess, just scary to me. So I told myself, Cheryl, just commit to 30 days, fully vegan. You can do this. You can do this. What's 30 days? It goes by like this. And what I noticed is after the 30 days, I felt so amazing that I was with the acne being gone and everything I mentioned before, I was like, well, I don't really want to go back. And I'm so proud of myself. And this is so important to me on so many levels, being the huge animal lover that I am. I'm like, well, let me take this a step further and a step further and a step further. And before I knew, Veginner cooking was this amazing thing helping so many people. And now it's just a part of who I am. And the fact that I can give back and share it with the world and help and inspire so many more people just reminds me that not only am I helping people, but we're saving so many animals together. By everyone that's choosing to eat a plant-based meal, you're saving statistically 105 animals every year.
And also, we really don't tell people, hey, you should go vegan right now. We're big fans of telling people, or not even telling, but educating people on the importance of reducing at least to begin with. Because I think for so many people, like you said, saying go vegan is horrifying. and people don't want any of it.
Yes.
And
it's so sad.
But you get it. Like if nobody wants to be told what to do, and they especially don't want to be told what to eat. And I think the more people get exposed to and learn that it's actually really easy. For me, because I was a vegetarian since I was a kid, my diet was very limited. You know, I ate a lot of salad, a lot of bread and cheese, different variations. Okay. I just didn't care that much about food either. Yeah. When I went vegan, all of a sudden, like there was so much more food. It was incredible how much more there was, which it sounds crazy, but it shocked me. And I never cooked until I went vegan. Yeah. Okay, and then I started because it was fun, but because it was also just kind of crazy how much there was. So talk about what Veginner cooking actually is. Like what happens at Veginner cooking?
Essentially, it's your all-in-one resource if you are a veganer, aka vegan beginner, someone who's vegan curious, someone who wants to embark on this journey but doesn't know where to begin. We have tons of easy recipes, and I'd say that's the main thing that we offer at Veginner Cooking. And what's different about our recipes and my food blog is that our community members to get involved and post recipes as well. We focus on recipes that are easy to make, not too many ingredients. It's just like an easy breezy process, so nothing feels overwhelming. And on top of that, I host free live cooking classes, and I'll feature people and cook with people as well. And that's really fun because it's so much more fun when you're cooking with others, right? So when you can ask questions and learn. And I also take recipe suggestions from my community. So if there's something that a veganer wants me to veganize, we can veganize it together on a live cooking class.
Give me an example.
All right. Well, I want to make vegan salmon. What do I do?
What do you do?
You make it out of watermelon. There's a way to veganize practically everything nowadays, and it's so much fun. It really is. And I just can't even believe I'm saying that because, again, I was someone who hated to cook, who never thought that I would have a food vlog.
And then did you just start cooking like a madwoman?
Yeah. Once I was vegan and I realized that I didn't have to cook meat, I just started experimenting. And I got all these cool kitchen tools and appliances that made cooking much easier. And I just started trying new things. And it's fun trying new things. And that's what I think you should think about when you go plant-based, that you are trying something new and it's going to bring all these new amazing things to your life that you didn't even know you could enjoy.
And so people still come to your cooking shows.
Yes.
And you're not tired of cooking? You still love it?
I'll say this. I'm still someone who doesn't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Right. I'm still all about quick and easy recipes.
But I think that's better, right? I mean, that's most people.
Yeah. But I love creating new, cool things that are vegan. And it's just I keep wowing myself. This tastes better than the real thing. And I'm taking it to other levels. It's more than just making dairy-free cookies, for example. I'm swapping out the sugar with monk fruit sugar substitute. So now they're dairy-free and they're sugar-free. So it's taking your health to another level. And once you go plant-based, you start trying all different things to improve your health.
I'm all for going out and having whatever kind of vegan junk food. If you're at a comfort vegan restaurant, that's all fun and it's great. And I'm so glad it's an option.
Yes.
Because a lot of people need it even to start thinking about, hey, I could do this. Right. But there is this stupid myth that I was talking about earlier about the dinner I was at last night, where people are now associating vegan with processed foods. And vegan's the most healthy food on the planet. And a lot of that messaging got purposely, messed with by Big Ag.
Yeah.
But it really worked. They fully are oh no, vegan's too unhealthy for me. I mean, that was literally what someone said last night. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so we have to change this narrative back. I think it is a big part of the problem right now. I'm so glad that your food is also very healthy.
Yes.
No, because we need it. And we need it to be delicious and healthy.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's almost like we should have two different conversations about what vegan food is, because that's not really vegan food. That's it's vegan junk food.
Yes, vegan junk food, exactly.
And just there's a lot of junk food, period. there's also vegan junk food, and there should be.
Yeah.
Like some people like junk food, but vegan food should not be labeled junk food. And somehow that's happening, and it's making me crazy.
There's so many myths, Elizabeth. I mean, the protein myth is another one that we hear all the time. Yeah. Where do you get your protein? The truth of the matter is, like, I actually wasn't aware of my protein and wasn't getting enough protein before I was vegan. Right. But now that I'm so mindful about all of my food choices, I actually get more protein now. My numbers are better now than they were back then.
I definitely get more protein now than when I was vegetarian. For people who don't, because I eat tofu probably every day, but I love tofu.
Yeah,
most people don't, or they don't even want to try it, especially people who aren't vegan already.
There's a learning curve with tofu, I'll be honest.
And it's kind of gross until you know how to make it. No, you have to know how to make it. You have to have had good tofu.
Yeah.
It's a lot of steps.
Yes.
But for people who don't want to go near like tofu, tempeh, seitan, all that sort of thing, what proteins do you recommend that they start with?
Well, I love legumes. Love, love, love. Like, for example, 1 cup of lentils has 18 grams of protein, which is incredible. I do have a lot of legumes. I do have a lot of nuts and seeds. Chia seeds has protein, plus you get your omegas. And something that I personally do every single morning is I actually start my day with a protein latte every morning. So instead of protein shakes, which aren't tasty, in my opinion, I make myself a different protein latte every morning. What I'll do is I get unflavored pea protein powder, and I'll put some fresh ginger, some matcha powder, or I'll do blue butterfly pea powder, or turmeric, or lemongrass, and I'll do a different combination of a nice latte with homemade nut milk, which I just did a live stream for homemade nut milk, by the way. And then I'll add a scoop of the pea protein, and and a little bit of cinnamon on top. And that's
Is there coffee in it?
No, no, there's no coffee. I stay away from caffeine because that bothers my tummy. But, there's caffeine in matcha. So I do have a lot of matcha, and that doesn't bother me at all. So I start my day with protein, go do a workout, and then come back and have like a quality protein meal, whether it's legumes. I love tofu as well. I always have lots of like nuts and seeds on my salads, and tempeh, seitan, like I love all those. And you learn to love them. And I promise, for those of you that are new to veganism, you will learn to love tofu. Get an air fryer. That'll help make your tofu taste amazing.
Yeah.
Get a little cornstarch, sprinkle on top to make it extra crispy, and play around with different flavors, different seasoning. Get some coconut aminos. That's a healthier alternative to soy sauce. And marinate your tofu with some coconut aminos, with some fresh ginger, fresh shredded garlic, some paprika, is amazing too. You throw that in the air fryer, you're gonna love tofu.
Who are the people that, like, when people first come to you or discover you?
Yeah.
Is it new vegans? Is it vegan curious? Who's the main audience here?
Mostly Veginners. So yes, vegan beginners for sure. I know that veganism can be a little daunting for some, and they feel like it's either you go fully vegan or you're not allowed in the club. Yeah. So I try to change that narrative a lot, and I try to have a lot of empathy because of my own journey. I was compassionate with myself, and I said, you know what? If you decide you need a cheat day, I'm not going to hate you for that. I gave myself that compassion and that empathy, and I just wanted a safe space where people could feel the same way, where if they were just coming to start with Meatless Mondays, that's okay. You're welcome here, and that's what I want to change. I feel like a lot of vegans, aren't as compassionate as we all say that we are here to be, and I think that we need to be more compassionate so we can get more people on our team.
And we're going to help a lot more animals and the planet a whole lot more if a lot of people reduce versus right now we're about 1% vegan on Earth, which is pretty tiny. Yeah. And so the more people just say, oh, I want to try that. And the more it becomes normal to be vegan till dinner, or be vegan during the week. Things like that, where it's something to try, something to experiment with, and something to incorporate into your family or into your life as something you do that's good for the planet or good for the animals or good for yourself.
Yes.
And doing it healthy, in a healthy way, really makes a big difference in terms of how you feel.
Exactly.
Right. Which encourages you. It's like going to the gym. All of a sudden, like however many days in, you're like, oh, I want to go back tomorrow because I feel great. And so it plays a big role leaning toward health.
I try to encourage a plant-forward lifestyle. I think it's more comforting than saying, oh, we have to be fully plant-based. And if you need some tips along the way, like, we both have free vegan challenges on the Veginner cooking site, on the Species Unite site. And, the first thing that I'll say to do is to remove all temptation. You won't crave what you can't see and you can't touch.
Yeah, talk about that. Like, say somebody wants to go vegan for 30 days and they're a full-on meat eater, dairy eater, and they're like, I'm just going to try this.
What I say is go through your pantry and go through your fridge and take out anything that's not plant-based. Put it in bags, double knot it if you need to, and donate it, give it away to friends or family, neighbors, just out of sight, out of mind. I truly believe in that mentality, right? Yeah. Then the next thing you want to do is stock your fridge and pantry with tons of amazing, delicious plant-based foods. And in the beginning, it's okay to have a little bit of the vegan junk food, right? Yeah. In the beginning. Then you'll naturally evolve, trust me. So that would be step 2. Step 3, check out the app Happy Cow. All of us know it. So you will never be at a loss of vegan food near you. You type in your zip code, no matter where you are in the world. This has helped me when I'm traveling, like out of the country and everything. You will have access to plenty of plant-based options just by typing in your zip code and seeing what's vegan near you. Even if it's not a vegan restaurant, you can find out what vegan food is there at a non-vegan restaurant near you. It's
awesome. Actually awesome. I think Happy Cow might be the best app for like the plant-based world ever. Like, it's beyond good.
Yeah. The next thing I think that's super, super important is get yourself some type of support system while you're on this journey, whether that's, Facebook groups, communities at Veginner Cooking, at Species Unite, finding vegan friends on social medias. There's even apps to make vegan friends now. Or if you have roommates or relatives that you live with that aren't on this journey with you, you can at least help educate them to understand why you're on this journey so that they can support your choices and support you while you're doing this. And hey, if you're making or bringing in amazing, delicious vegan food is good food. They're going to eat it, Right. But what I say...
Especially if you don't call it vegan.
You don't always have to reveal it, Yeah. Like, quick side note, like I make brownies out of black beans.
Wow.
And like, it's not even about the fact that they're vegan, but if you just tell people after they eat it that there's black beans in it, they're like, oh my God. But if you say before, they're like, I don't know if I want to try that, So back to the support system. So what I recommend is there are lots of vegan documentaries out there, some that are easier to watch than others. I prefer to watch the less graphic ones because I cry like a baby when I see anything sad happen to animals. But I'll share some of my favorites. You can share some of yours. I'm sure you know even more than I do. But if you watch things like What the Health, Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy, The Game Changers, My Octopus Teacher, if you watch a few of those with your relatives or whoever you're living with, whoever the people that are around you, maybe it might not convince them to go on this journey with you, but they will definitely be supportive of your choices and not, shove meat in your face, while you're doing this or try to drag you to a restaurant that you guys always used to go and have, chicken at or something, It's about just having that support. I think is one of the reasons why a lot of people do fall off is because they're surrounded by the old food that they used to love. And you kind of want to have that out of sight, out of mind for at least in the beginning.
What do people say to you? Because you're in dialogue with a lot of these people, right?
Yeah.
That are following you and watching your show. Mm-hmm. What do they say, like, some of the biggest obstacles are? Like, for early days?
I don't know what to eat. Right. It really, I'd say that's the number one reason why people don't go plant-based. I know so many animal lovers, as you do, and still they just, they won't go vegan. They think they have to give up all their favorite foods. Right. And that's when I come back to what I said earlier, where you don't have to give up anything. You just have to switch to the kinder, healthier alternative. It is easier to go plant-based now in 2024, 2025 than it ever was before.
Yeah.
You have all the solutions. You have everything at your disposal. There's even, AI chatbots like PlantPal, a free AI companion that I created on ChatGPT, where you could literally just, take a picture of your pantry or your fridge, or just tell it the ingredients you have and say, make a recipe for me, or give me or tell me what vegan films I should watch. You could say anything. And the point is, we have so many tools and resources, like my blog and all the amazing recipes I'm giving to you guys, that there's no excuses anymore. If you want this, if you want to make this change in your life, if you are a huge animal lover, if you love our planet, or, you want to make a difference, you want to lower your carbon footprint, you have the tools to do it now.
What are some recipes you recommend in the early days? Like just a couple examples that are really easy for people, but still really good.
I'd stick with things like chickpea curry, lentil soup, 3-bean chili.
It's very cold in New York right now. That's why it's all these warm foods.
True that. Things that are hearty and don't have the word vegan written all over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you hear 3-bean chili, like that's something that no matter what your dietary, no matter what your dietary preference is, you eat that, you love that, you know? So I have a lot of recipes like that on my blog. A lot of cool like chopped salad ideas too. A lot of just, hearty, delicious things that aren't too complicated to make. So definitely, I would stick with those kind of options. And then I would start experimenting, making tofu and tempeh and things like that.
I think that's true. That's one thing that really scares people too. Like when there's too many ingredients or it's too complicated or it'll take too long. That scares me. It doesn't scare me, but I don't have the patience for it.
No, I don't have the patience either. And we're all so busy. We don't want to spend hours in the kitchen every day. We just don't,
No.
So get yourself a food processor, so you don't have to be chopping tons of vegetables all the time. There are tools that can support your culinary experience so that it doesn't have to take so long.
What about for a family that they're going to start doing vegan Mondays or vegan Fridays? With little kids, what kind of stuff do you recommend there?
There's an amazing mac and cheese recipe on my site that's dairy-free. That kids love. Highly recommend that one for the kids. And if you want to take it a step further, you can use chickpea pasta, chickpea macaroni instead of regular macaroni, and now you're getting extra protein as well. So and the sauce is made out of cashews and potatoes and nutritional yeast and carrots for the color.
Amazing.
It's so good, so good. You can't tell. I've made that for big kid gatherings before, and nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody cares. Again, good food is good food.
What about your family, since they were such heavy meat eaters? Were they resistant to this new you?
My family, even though they aren't vegan like I am, they respect my choices.
Sure.
They support my choices. And a few of them even try to make vegan things for me here and there. But what I will say is you always want to be prepared, especially if you are new on this journey. When you go out to family gatherings or picnics or barbecues or Thanksgiving,
or
you want to make sure, or certain, but for this tip specifically, can't really bring your own food to restaurants.
No.
But I do think it's important in the beginning that you either go hungry to your family I'm sorry, not go hungry, go full. Go full to your family gatherings, or bring your own food and surprise your family with something delicious. Like I said, bring one of the cool recipes from my blog even, and just make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where you're starving and looking at all this non-vegan food that everyone else is enjoying except for you. In the beginning stages, you want to be prepared, you want to be mindful, bring your own food or go full.
For most people, it's actually really difficult to give something up that they've eaten their entire life. And it's actually really, really difficult to let go of habit and custom and ritual and family tradition and all of that. Is that part of your messaging? And
I remember when it was hard for me.
Right.
I'd say the first 6 months were the hardest for me. Every time I walked by the pizza shop that I used to get a slice from every day when I leave my apartment, I'm like, you know? But by the way, now they sell vegan slices, which they didn't when I first went vegan, but now like all the pizza shops do.
Everybody in New York sells vegan.
But I will admit, the first 6 months it was hard. But like I said, I didn't have the support system. I didn't have a resource like Veginner cooking. And what I will say is that when you are struggling, when you're on this journey and you're starting out and you're having one of those days, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I want you to pause and I want you to remind yourself why you made this decision in the first place. What is your motivation? Why are you here? Are you doing this for the animals? Are you doing it for the planet? Are you doing it for your health? Are you doing it, because you love your partner and that's so important to them? Whatever your reasons are, remind yourself what's motivating you. Remind yourself, why is this so important to you? If you're at a barbecue and you can't eat the mac and cheese at the barbecue and you're mad while you're looking at everyone else eat it, it's okay. Remind yourself why you made this choice that you are so darn proud of. And then when you get home, go to veginnercooking.com and make your own vegan mac and cheese. It'll taste better. You're not giving it up. You're just switching to the kinder alternative. I can't say that enough.
Right.
And if you have that mentality and you can wait an hour before eating, the mac and cheese, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then if you do accidentally eat something that isn't plant-based, don't beat yourself up. Just try again the next time. Remind yourself, 105 animals a year, you will be saving.
A lot of animals.
Yes.
And it's huge for the planet. And it's enormous for your health.
Yes.
Enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole healthcare system would be completely different. We wouldn't have nearly as many people with diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. So much of that is from diet and so much of that is from meat and dairy.
Yep.
And yet we know it, but we don't really know it. And most people don't know it until they're in a crisis. And if they just happen to change their diet, which very few do, even in crisis, but the ones that do are astonished that diet changed everything.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
And even beyond diet, like when I went to a dermatologist when I was a kid all the time for my acne, did any of the doctors ever say, oh, well, maybe, you should try consuming less dairy? No.
Right.
No one suggested that.
But
Not
it's
one
massive,
doctor.
the
Not
difference.
one doctor. So I had all these expensive creams that did nothing.
But it's the same with insulin and like metformin and all these diabetes drugs that for a lot of people, diet can completely reverse diabetes.
There's so many reasons to go plant-based.
But it's very tricky.
I promise it gets easier. If you stick it out and you surround yourself with the right support and the right resources, you will get here.
How do people get the right resources? Like talk about Veginner cooking and how they find you and the resources that you offer.
We are at Veginner Cooking on all social media, veginnercooking.com. It's just like the word beginner, but with the letter V. And you can actually RSVP to our live cooking classes right there on the site. Just click on live events. And we send out weekly vegan recipes via our email list. And there's lots of other cool surprises that you might find on there as well. So definitely check it out. And if there's anything that I can do to support you guys, please just leave a comment on this podcast and I'll be happy to answer any questions or offer any motivation that you need. You got this.
Thank you, Cheryl. This was great.
Well, thank you again for having me.
To learn more about Cheryl, to learn more about Veginner cooking, go to our website, speciesunite.com. We will have links to everything, including the watermelon salmon recipe that Cheryl talked about. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Species Unite. If you have a spare moment and can do us a favor, please subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps people find the show. I would like to thank everyone at Species Unite, including Gary Knutson, Caitlin Pierce, Amy Jones, Paul Healy, Santina Polky-Link, Bethany Jones, Lorraine Doherty, Hannah Gabrielson, and Anna Kollner, who wrote and performed today's music. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.